You're Sperp back with another video, and this episode of From was fucking insane. There's so much to talk about. There was so much revealed. I feel like, going to be some confusion. Maybe not. Maybe this episode will give some people some clarity or some answers that they were looking for with specific things that happen in this whole entire series as a whole. But this is a very important episode and sets up the last two episodes, I feel like, really well. Starting off with the opening scene where we have Boyd taking Fatima to this old cabin. It's a small fucking like a little shed. It's more like a shed than a cabin, to kind of isolate from everyone. And Fatima is just completely terrified because she feels like this is going to happen again. I can't be around people right now. But Boyd wants to figure this out because he looks at Fatima like family. He doesn't want Ellis to go through the same kind of traumatic thing he went through. He doesn't feel like he can really handle that. But this whole going about it this way is for sure going to have some ramifications and repercussions, all that shit, consequences. We're going to talk about all of that. And then Jade, meets Victor's father. And this leads into one of probably the best episode of the season thus far, just performance-wise, between just two actors. We're going to get into that. And we have Elgin being creepy as fuck this whole entire episode. He's being very shady, very sus. Ever since he got that Say Cheese and Die camera, it's been just showing him different things that he willingly just kind of does. It gets really weird. Then it cuts to Julie going over to Randall to just kind of thank him for letting her just crash there. Very odd, very awkward. But she wants to go back to that place, and Randall's just like, no, don't fucking do that. Just chill out. We don't need to be going there. There's nothing nice about this place. Just don't do it. And then Julie just kind of storms out and whatnot. And just the interesting thing going on with her character this season, for sure. Now Ellis, he acting like a little bitch over here. He already ready to just kind of tell everybody. He's like, what are we gonna do? He's just really concerned, overly concerned. I get it. I could see an argument Mia made, like, to just tell everybody so we could just deal with it then and there, but Boyd kind of just wants to lie about it. Which, now that everybody knows that Tilly has been stabbed, this turns into something that I don't think Boyd really expected, and maybe in that moment he's having some regret in not telling everybody. And because now Donna has seen this, she mentions that people are going to think that this is Sarah. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. They're going to blame Sarah. And Acosta does not know about Sarah at this moment. Which, thinking about it now, this might be a power play for Acosta, and she might become a more important character moving forward going into season 4. And I'll get into that very shortly. But shifting things over to Victor trying to get Jasper to talk, and he thinks that Sarah could be the one to help, but he's freaking the fuck out on her, just straight, just getting really frustrated that it's not really working because he can't remember. So then, while Jim and Tabitha start to have this kind of back and forth, Jim's like, there's something going on here, and Jim's really out of pocket pretty much. And he's definitely letting this place kind of get to him. And he really wants to work things out with Tabitha, but he's doing it in the wrong way. And it's in this moment where they're going to knock at the door. Sarah tries to ask for Tabitha's help. Meanwhile, you got shady-ass Elgin just going around trying to steal things from, or take something from the hospital, or whatever you want to call it. drawing a blank on it. Anyways, it's like one of those things that draws blood. And it was a cool moment, though, for Randall. You start to kind of warm up to his character more in this season because you see that he's a guy that actually genuinely cares about people and whatnot. And he pretty much tells Elgin, yo, I'm sorry for the whole situation that happened on the bus. I shouldn't have done that. I should have really kind of listened to you. You were right this whole time. Going back to Tabitha trying to help Victor already starting to snap on her. And then Tabitha does the smart thing and treats Victor like a child, but not in like a condescending way. It's more of like, this is the way to kind of treat him. You know what I'm saying? This is the way you kind of get him to kind of calm down. And he's just having a hard time figuring out what's kind of going on and what he needs to remember. So then Jim tells Julie that you need to go watch over your brother. I need to go handle something. I got to do some man shit right now. This is a great build up to just what's about to go down. So then Julie goes to see what's up with Ethan, what he's doing. And of course, Ethan's just sitting there moping. He's probably just crying over his fucking goat. Jesus Christ, man. But all jokes aside, Julie ends up taking Ethan with him to go to the spot. Now we get into my favorite scene of this entire season so far. Definitely my favorite moment of this episode. And man, Henry couldn't have pulled up to the bar at the most perfect time, because as he's drinking, Jim comes in like he fucking owns the place and starts to press Jade about, putting all these thoughts into Tabitha's head. And Jade's like, what the fuck are you talking about, bro? She came to me for help to just try to figure things out. I'm the only one doing that. And this is where Jim just looks so fucking stupid, because he really plays himself, where he tries to talk down to Jade and say, oh, you think you're so fucking smart. And Jade's like, yeah, I am fucking smart. I'm the only one trying to figure this shit the fuck out. That was brilliant. That whole scene, I will go back and rewatch that very scene once I get done this review. Now we get Ellis meeting up with Fatima in the little shed to kind of just drop off some things, say goodbye, give her their lucky scarf, which is pretty funny, and just making sure she's okay. She's obviously not, and she's just really concerned. And then she ends up seeing the Komodo lady and stuff, which I would have had the same reaction as Fatima if I saw that for the first time. And then we see Elgin doing some weird creepy shit. He's like drawing blood, because that's what the picture showed, that he needs blood. Blood for what reason? You have to wait and find out. But it gets interesting. Back at the bar, Jim's just sitting there mad as fuck because what he did just didn't work. And even now, Henry tries to really kind of doubles down on it. And he's like, can I give you a word of advice? Maybe you should just shut the fuck up and just, listen to your wife. And that whole conversation was just a great follow-up, because it's a much more calm approach, you know what I'm saying? And he talks about how he can relate to Jim in this situation, ironically, which just had my mind kind of going throughout this whole entire episode. More things that get revealed, it just kind of feels like things are starting to become more clear about from. Going back to Julie, another Matthews, we're getting back-to-back scenes of the Matthews. It's just a really interesting kind of parallels and just kind of different things that are going on with these individual characters, and it's starting to connect. Now, Julie tells Ethan, like, I'm scared. Ethan just got this bewildered look on his face, like, why am I even fucking out here? Why'd you bring me out here? And Julie's just really scared, and she just wants her brother to help her. And he talks about her going through this threshold, and you have to just kind of face your fears. And so Ethan decides to go, or she decides Oh no, yeah, he decides to just go with her, and immediately she's back in the spot where she was screaming, where Boyd saw Martin. Now you're starting to are you starting to piece things together a little bit? This is where things start to ramp up and get crazy. So now we go back to Tabitha and Victor, and now Victor's starting to remember certain things, and he remembers the church, and he feels like that's where Christopher was talking to Jasper. So they end up switching locations. Now back at Colony House, there's a lot of things brewing because you have Acosta and Kenny playing cops, questioning the different residents there. And this is where Acosta finds out about Sarah. And the guy's like, yeah, you don't know about Sarah? She killed somebody. And another person died. And, she starts to find out a lot of information. Now we have a scene between Ellis just wanting to tell the truth. And Boyd's like, no, we can't do that. And now Donna comes into play. Things are escalating. And I think because of this lie, there's going to be a lot of rifts. A lot of people not really trusting in Boyd anymore. Even where Kenny and Acosta are just kind of walking away from Colony House. Acosta's like, yo, why do you have to listen to Boyd? Like, you know what I'm saying? He's obviously lying about something. And it's going to be interesting because I feel like Donna also is going to flip on Boyd. But the more important stuff in this episode is where Julie is. She sees Martin, and we finally figure out who the fuck dropped the rope, and it was fucking Julie. So wherever this place is, or specifically where Julie is, it's definitely what goes back to what Jay was talking about wormholes and stuff like that. So this is like a kind of a continuous thing that wherever she's at, she can go back into, it's almost like time travel pretty much, just in that area. Or maybe it's just more than that in different spots. And it makes me think about these faraway trees, which we'll get into that as well, because there's a lot of interesting things going on with that. So, now that Donna pretty much knows that Fatima killed Tilly because Boyd said that to Donna wants to tell the truth. She wants to tell everybody, and she's willing to give Boyd some time to think about it. If not, she's gonna blow things up. Now, this is where we get into the most interesting stuff of the whole entire season so far. That kind of really makes me think about everything that we've seen up until this point. We get to the end of the episode where Victor is now at the basement of the church, and he kind of just starts to remember certain scenarios of, Christopher talking to the doll. But now he remembers he wasn't talking to the doll. He was talking to the boy in white. This story that gets brought up as like Victor's remembering it. He's remembering it word for word. He's talking about everything starts from the beginning with the children being killed by the people that love them the most, they trust, and what they did to them. It's very interesting stuff here, man. And I'm curious to see what's going to happen next with all of this, with the next 2 episodes, because, man, that's just really fascinating. Let me know how you guys feel about that whole entire scene with Victor in the story. And I'm still kind of trying to process all that information. I'm going to be watching this whole entire episode again after this, but very interesting. The episode ends, though, with Elgin somehow finding out where Fatima was, pretty much kidnapping her, and it's too late because Boyd and Ellis get there too late. She's gone. He mentions that, you must stay here, that cellar that he was at, that's not your baby. I don't know what the fuck he means by that. I wish Fatima was a little bit more self-aware in that moment. I'm not gonna call her dumb. She was a little slow. It's just like you're letting him lead you into pretty much a trap. So Elgin was the red herring. So he's definitely something to kind of look out for. I don't know how this is all going to kind of play out. Is Ellis going to be able to get to Elgin before something bad happens to Fatima? Overall, I feel like this was one of the stronger episodes of the season thus far. It reveals a lot of things. It leaves you with a lot to think about, and I definitely think it's starting to answer a lot of people's questions. Maybe it might confuse you. Let me know how you guys feel about this in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.